in the building like I got $1 million on me in cash. Okay, tired of counting, I hired accountants, they doing the math. Okay, took it to places they never could make it, I'm forming a path. Okay, not going back. Okay, not going back.
Yo, what's wrong with these guys, man? I don't even know that. When will they understand that this is not a short-term thing? Trust me. Yo, Connor. 4 corners of the world.
Yeah.
Tell them.
It's a marathon, it's not 100 meters. Yeah, play my cards right, I ain't bluffing either. Yeah, always wear a smile like I'm Justin Bieber. Buried bonds with the hits, I ain't never had to touch a needle, whoa. But I move the needle, whoa. If I do not like the song, then I don't do the feature, no. Levitating on the beat, I call that Dua Lipa, whoa. Circle tight, I do what I gotta do to keep them close. Yeah, pick at the pace, go. I keep it going, a foot on the brake, whoa. Ain't no one get in my lane, just give me the time and give me the place. Taking a name and no one can stop me, I ain't afraid, I'm going in rocky. And it's a shame they all wanna copy, but ain't no way that no one can top me. Look, this a marathon, it's not 100 meters. Play my cards right, I ain't bluffing either. Always wear a smile like I'm Justin Bieber. I might be here for a while, had to run the meter. Ayy, I could count the people that I trust on like one hand. Always throwing shade, so ain't no way I get a suntan. This ain't not no movie, shooting shots like it's Sundance. But nothing coming through to me, the gun jammed, I guess. Wait, whoa, I'm the one, take no sacrifice, supposed to hurt, just do the work. Lay low, warming up, J. Cole, about to blow, way cold. I've been serving sentences behind the bars, case closed, yeah. And I don't wait for what the verdict is, nah, I ain't worrying. Even if I fail, nothing's permanent. So let me spell this out for you if you ain't sure of it. Gotta turn an L into earning, that's what learning is. Yeah, this a marathon, it's not 100 meters. Play my cards right, I ain't bluffing either. Always wear a smile like I'm Justin Bieber. I might be here for a while, had to run the meter. This a marathon, it's not 100 meters. Play my cards right, I ain't bluffing either. Always wear a smile like I'm Justin Bieber. 4 corners with the hits, I ain't never had it.
I told you. I mean, man. He told you, but I'm telling you now. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And you know what that means? We gonna be here for a while. Get used to us. Shout out to one and only Connor Price. And my name is 4 corners of the world.
Say them want link with the general. Say them want the high grade medical. Them now want to move with no boy where you move like snitch and I move like federal. Say them want to roll with the gargan. Them now want to roll with no pagan. Every jungle is a champion. Everybody don't know the program. Boy could have big and thick like Hulk Hogan. But if in this bitch I know him have a cool one. Boy could have big and thick like Hulk Hogan. But if in this bitch I know him have a boy could have big and thick like Hulk Hogan. But if in this bitch I know him have a cool one. Every jungle is a champion. Everybody don't know the program. Well if I were bumbo, we'll make it start up. Bumbo rock clot, what it up, it clot up. Well if I were bumbo, well come tell me no. I see the big Macky level, no shadow no. Him a no bad man, I must say madman. Bout if I a gunshot and dead program. But them not woman, Carter, fly them blood clot, that it a me slogan. Say them want link with the general. Say them want the high grade medical. Them now want to move with no boy where you move like snitch and I move like federal. Say them want to roll with the gargan. Them now want to roll with no pagan. Every jungle is a champion. Everybody don't know the program. Me a tell you no, gunshot Carella no. Sound for you walk out dead no matter what you do. Me a tell you no, this a no toto. This a the big 4-5 oh no one no. This a no play thing, Chinese key thing. La your ears ring. You not ear king, all that ear thing. Him have to run back a gun from me virgin. Like Say them want link with the general. Say them want the high grade medical. Them now want to move with no boy where you move like snitch and I move like federal. Say them want to roll with the garden. Them now want to roll with no pagan. Every jungle is a champion. Everybody don't know the program. Well, if I were bumbo, we'll make it start up.
சரியா உண்மை ஒரு நாளைக்கும் உங்கி போவாங்க.
Testing. Just want to make sure that my mic is good to go. It looks like everything is good. First off, I'd like to say thank you everyone for coming this evening. This is the very first Mitm Club webinar, so we'll see how this goes. I'm expecting a few more people to be coming in, and as they do come in, I'm just gonna ask that everyone try to mute themselves, just so it's very easy for people to hear. And as people come in, I'll be muting people just in case. So, that being said, welcome to the first webinar. Thank you for being here. And what exactly is today? What is this webinar about? Today, we're going to be going over the Money Mastery Dash, your roadmap to financial freedom. Wow, so fun. So who am I? Some of you already know me. Some of you may not know me, but my name is Ty Aarons. I've been a coach for over 10 years. I started out in the fitness industry. I've been a musician for many more years than that. Pretty much, I like to develop myself. I like to grow. I like to learn as much as I can and serve other people while I'm learning and share information with other folks. So long story short, I was in the fitness industry for 10 years. And when lockdowns happened, I had to shut down my gym, unfortunately. Sucks, but that's part of life sometimes, you know? So what happened is I made the switch. I went from compound lifts to compound interest. I started helping people with their finances. And the way that went is a lot of my friends are like, Ty, you're doing pretty okay during these lockdowns. Like, not the greatest, but pretty okay. How are you doing this? How are you still managing to maintain the lifestyle that you've been building over these years? And I created some slides. I showed them, hey, this is how I do this, how I put my money here. This is how I put money there. And they're like, where did you learn all this? And it all started back when I was in high school, okay? This is Tiny Ty, okay? Tiny Ty in grade 9 had feet that were too big for his body. And it started because this whole financial journey, this whole thing about learning about how to manage finances, personal finances, started because Tiny Ty really had this huge crush on this girl. I know, right? The story of so many young guys getting motivated by young women, right? So Tiny Ty was like, I like this girl so much, but I have these shoes that are terrible. I don't have shoes that people actually like. And Tiny Ty is like, oh man, I got this phone that's also terrible. Like everyone's on BlackBerry and I'm using a Sony Ericsson. And by the time I finally got a BlackBerry, everyone moved over to iPhone. So I was always a little bit behind. So I'm like, okay, I need to change something because I'm tired of being broke. I don't like being poor, okay? I'm the oldest of now 11 kids. And you can imagine growing up in that type of household, money is not really just flowing in abundance, right? It's set up in a way where it's like, yo, you kind of have to make sure you're strategic with how you're spending. You can't get the most lavish things. And I said, that's not the standard that I want to have my life be at all. I got to change this. So what I do, I went to the person that I knew in my family that, from my perspective, was the most successful. And this is my grandmother. Now, this is not an actual picture of my grandmother, but I went to my grandmother and I told her, hey, I really, really want to be rich. I don't know how, I don't know what I should do, but I want to be rich. I want to build wealth. And my grandmother told me, hey, I need you to go and talk to Paul, right? Now, Paul was my grandmother's financial advisor. Paul had worked with my grandmother for the better part of over 30 years. He helped her get her house. He helped her get into the cars that she wanted. He helped her go on the vacations that she wanted to. Paul really helped my grandmother make sure that she was managing her finances properly. And I went to Paul, like she said. And I told Paul the exact same thing I told my grandmother. I want to be rich. and Paul guided me. In fact, to this day, Paul still guides me. He still helps me out anytime I'm stuck. He gives me the best advice ever anytime I need it. He really is there to help me on this journey that I've been going on. Like I literally talked to him 2 days ago saying, hey, I'm struggling with XYZ, and he's giving me tips to help make sure I'm on the right path. And he said, you can be rich if you follow my teachings, right? And so Paul sent me off on this journey. Now, the journey that Paul sent me off on, you would think that it would be, hey, go grab these stocks, go get these investments, go do XYZ. But no, he started me off with a bunch of books, right? The first book that he told me to get is The Magic of Thinking Big. And so I got that first book and I listened to it and I learned it. The next book he told me to get was Think and Grow Rich. And I studied this book. I studied this book. In fact, I have 3 different copies of the exact same of the book. I have the deluxe version, the regular print version, the journal version. I have the audio. I have 2 versions of the audiobook. Think and Grow Rich has been an absolute foundation to everything that I do, right? The next book that he told me to get is As a Man Thinketh. Now you might notice kind of a trend going on here. All 3 of the first books that Paul gave me were all about the mindset. Were all about thinking, right? The next book he told me to get was The Richest Man in Babylon. And there are so many stories inside of this book that helped guide me on my journey to building my wealth. And the final book that Paul told me to get is Rich Dad Poor Dad, because he really wanted to help me start to develop the mindset that it takes to actually develop wealth. And so Paul said, hey, I give you my Audible account and you have 24 hours to get as many books as you can, and your time starts now. So with that being said, let's hop into this webinar. That's a bit about me, but let me tell you guys a bit about the MITM Club and what exactly is the MITM Club. You might see me say MITM this. What does it mean? It essentially means millionaires in the making. And the idea behind this is the journey. Everyone's not just going to wake up a millionaire unless you're extremely fortunate and you come from wealth. We don't all just wake up and you slip and fall into $1 million. It's a journey that you want to become the person that can attract, that can maintain, that can be a good steward of $1 million, right? And more, and more, and more. So that is the idea behind the MITM Club. But there are a couple key pillars that we operate based off of, right? So there's 6 key pillars. And we do have a podcast that pretty much every single morning we put out where we explore the 6, we unlock the keys to success by exploring the 6 pillars. So if anyone is interested in diving deeper into the 6 pillars, check out the MITM podcast. It's absolutely everywhere. But with that being said, the first pillar is the pillar of the self. Now, with self, we look at your identity. We look at your purpose. We're looking at your credo. Okay, these are the things that are the intangibles that are with you as you walk on this planet and on your journey. All right, they say wherever you go, there you are. Right, you're always with yourself. And so the self, the more we develop it, the more we can be to give back more to others. Okay, the next pillar is the pillar of fitness. Right, one of the amazing things that I learned at this one gym I was working at was your health is your true wealth. Right? If you have $1 million today, but you're going to die tomorrow, it's kind of useless. And I know so many people talk about it, but fitness is actually broke up into 3 categories: the mind, the body, and the soul. So it's not just about, oh, let me get physically strong. You have to be mentally strong. You want to be spiritually aligned, right? These are one of the pillars we explore. Another one is family. And when we look at family, it's not just about blood relatives. It's your circle of influence. It's the people that you choose to have around you, right? Next pillar is education. Right. And with education, I mean, if any of you know me, and I hope that you guys get to know me more if you haven't already known me to a deep level yet, I'm always quoting books. I'm always talking about different books. And so in the MITM Club, the one asset that no one could take from you is the knowledge that you can learn. Right. So courses, podcasts, YouTube videos, etc. We have so many things for education. All right. And fun. So for fun, we run events, we create custom merch, we're making connections. Like we throw rooftop parties at Laval. We do like underground events, a whole bunch of different stuff because fun is important, okay? And there is one pillar that, well, supports everything else. And normally when I go through this with my students, I ask them who can tell me what that pillar is, but I'm just gonna tell y'all, it is the pillar of finance, all right? Because finance ends up being that base that helps us be able to develop strongly in every single other pillar. If you don't have money, it makes it a lot more difficult to find success. And so we're going to be going over a couple key things with finances today. Now, the first thing is financial health, okay? Financial health, then financial goals, and then investments and savings. And we're going to be exploring a little bit of each of those. So that is pretty much the 6 pillars recapped. Like I mentioned, you guys can check out the podcast if you want to dive deeper into the 6 pillars, but today we're focusing on finance. Now, we should all be aiming to have $1 million and more. And like now with inflation, $1 million is really nothing. It's kind of like the new baseline of what people should be getting to. But why should we be aiming for $1 million or more? Now, I don't know if y'all can see this property, this little tiny white house right here that's sold in Toronto. If anyone wants to, I mean, at this point, if you want to unmute to say it, or you could throw it down in the chat, how much do you think this property goes for?
1 million.
1 million. Okay. Anyone else want to guess what this one goes for?
2 million.
2 million. Okay, I'll take one more guess. Let's see.
1.5.
1,200,000.
What? How? Wait. How much?
1,200,000.
1,200,000. Okay, and I gotta. Oh, we have in the chat down below. We say 780,000. All right, drum roll, please. Let's see how much this house actually went for. This house went for $1.8 million. That's ridiculous. This tiny shack went for $1.8 million, right? And I tell folks like the new baseline is $1 million because you can't even get a shack for $1 million at this point, right? At least if you're trying to stay in Toronto. You want to live out in Newmarket or somewhere far, okay, great. But if you want to stay in the city, you need some cash. All right, I'll show y'all one more. How much do you think this property is? This also a little box that's graffitied over like crazy. Yeah, how much y'all think?
Where is that? Where in Toronto is that?
Don't have the exact location, but it is also in Toronto.
Downtown Toronto?
Probably somewhere downtown-ish.
Yeah.
Million.
We have 1 million. Oh, we have 1.4 million in the chat. Okay, what else do we got? Anyone else want to guess?
I'm gonna say 2 million again. Stick
2
to
million. Okay, I'll take one more guess.
1.5.
1.5. Okay, so and a quick. Actually, I think I may or may not have a drum roll sound. I gotta find where that is, but we'll figure that out next time. So this property is actually $2.5 million. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's like, this is why so many folks are saying, oh, I feel like I can't get a house, or like a lot of millennials are complaining that they can't get properties, right? So yeah, new standard is $1 million because we want to be able to live the lives we want and master all 6 of our pillars. So the more money you have, the more you are, the more you will have, the more you can give back to those around you. Okay, there's more of an abundance mindset that I want to start to garner with anyone that's here listening. All right. Okay. So here's some finance facts you may or may not know. 2 out of 5 Canadians believe they'll never be debt free. Okay, so that means what? There's 10 people here. 4 people here might feel like they may never be debt free. All right. On average, Canadians are spending $1.70 for every dollar that they make. And these numbers are probably, I got to update these because it's probably even more than that at this point, right? 32% of Canadians have saved nothing for retirement. And I'll go deeper into what that means in a moment. On average, and this blew my mind when I found this out, it costs $16,500 per year to raise a child in Canada. So when you actually break it down from age 0 to 18, that's over $320,000 for one child. And most people don't know this. It's more expensive if it's a daughter because of the pink tax, and women have their own needs and there's more expenses over there. And it's like, most people don't plan for that. All right. And lastly, financial stress is one of the top 3 reasons for divorce. Right. So it affects, you can see it will affect your other pillars if you're not financially there. So let's hop into this next slide real quick. So if we were to look at 100 people after working for 40 years, they've reached age 65. This is assuming that you've taken the common road. You start working after you're out of college or university at 25, all right? So 54% of people are dependent. 36% of people are working. 5% are deceased. 4% are okay. And when I say okay, that means they probably have $1 to $5 million saved. So they're like, okay, I'm good. You know, in case emergencies happen, whatever, I'm good. And then 1% of folks are actually crushing it. That means they have put away over $10 million or more. All right. Now, why do you think that 90% of people fail when it comes to their finances? And there's 3 key things I'm looking for. So feel free to shout it out or put it down in the chat. I'm watching here.
They don't set financial goals. First guess.
No financial goals. All right. Anyone else want to go?
No guidance.
Okay, no guidance. All right. One last one. Lack of discipline. Okay. I like that. I like that. Well, let's see what they are. So the first one is no financial education. People aren't being taught about finances. This is actually why a part of the MITM's journey has been to help people with their finances. And we're actually in the schools teaching. So the MITM Club actually works in the schools helping grade 12 students put their best foot forward so they could actually find success when they step out into the world. So hopefully the next generation is not like many of us that didn't get financial education, right? The next one we have is that there's no financial game plan, right? So many people spend more time planning for a vacation or spend more time trying to decide what movie they want to watch or whatever they want to do for fun compared to with their finances just kind of up in the air, things just happen, right? And lastly, yes, there's no financial coach. There's no one that has already walked that path. Everyone doesn't have a Paul in their life is what I'm saying, right? Like if it wasn't for Paul, I would be probably way worse off financially. And I'm so grateful that at a young age, I was able to learn a lot. I still made mistakes. By all means, I still made mistakes. And a lot of times I didn't listen to them and it messed me up even more. But, not many people had someone at least saying, hey, go this way, not that way, or go that way, not this way. All right. So throughout this whole webinar that we're having today, I do want you to think about the people in your life that could benefit from financial literacy, whether they join a webinar in the future, whether they join one of the classes, or even if they just check out the podcast or YouTube channel. I want you to keep those people in mind so that you can invite them on this journey that you've already started to go on. All right. Oh, my cat decided to be super loud. All right. So let's keep it moving. So here's the keys to the dream, right? And there's three things that most people fail at. So the key number one that I'm going to share with you today is establishing a solid foundation. All right, so key number one, establishing a solid foundation. And the way you're going to do this is you want to make sure that you understand your current financial status, okay? You want to know, hey, how much money is coming in? How much money is going out? What's my socioeconomic status? In fact, one of the things I do with my students often is we look at your past, present, and future, okay? So we say, hey, what did your family do with money? What are the lessons you learned when you were young with money? What are some mindsets or some credos that don't belong to you, but are with you now because of what your family did? We start with the past. Then we look at the present. We say, when money comes into your life, what do? Do you keep it? Do you save it? Or do you spend it? Or do you just give it away freely, right? What are one of the three things that you tend to do often, right? How much money do you spend? Well, we do a financial audit. And then lastly, we start to say, hey, where do you want to go in the future? And are you going the way that is where you actually want to go? Or are you going somewhere that you don't necessarily want to go? And how do we adjust accordingly? Okay, we have a whole framework breaking down how to make that a very, very easy for folks. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys know this, but there's actually 3 core levels of financial mastery. Right. And one quote that I have by Henry David Thoreau is, wealth is the ability to fully experience life. Right. And I have little quotes in this here and there because I want to start planting different seeds that it's not all about money. Right. But money can be a ticket to experience more of what we want and have amplify more of what we want in our lives. All right. So there's level 1. And level 1 has technically 4 stages, but 3 stages. So we have financial dependent, right? The person that's financial dependent needs someone else for survival, for any extravagant things, or to take care of daily expenses. Now, when we look at many people around us, I mean, obviously young folks are financially dependent, but so many people are dependent on like the government, right? They're dependent on a family member to come in and help them with things that they should be able to manage on their own. At least at a certain age, you should be able to get that sorted out, right? So a lot of people are financially dependent. Then stage 1, once you finally broken off the shackles of being dependent, you're solvent, okay? So this means you're not behind on your liability payments, and this means that your net cash flow is positive. So you're like, okay, you're kind of at 0 now, okay? Then we go to financial stability. That means stage 2, this person's able to build some emergency fund. And stage 3 is debt freedom. Now, debt freedom is achieved when the person's paid off all their high interest debts except for mortgage debt. And then we go into some other ones. Okay, let me jump forward because this is a duplicate. Sorry, guys. Okay, whoops, let me go back. Back. All right. So then we have level 2. And you would be surprised how few people actually get to level 2. Right. And I want for everyone here, if you're not at level 2, right? I want for as many people here as possible to try to work to getting into level 2. Now, stage 4 in level 2 is accumulating 1 year's worth of your annual expenses. Okay. This means that if anything were to happen, you can say, hey, I'm going to chill for a year. I'm good. And there's some things like FIRE, financial independence, retire early, where they use these strategies to say, hey, this is how you can save 25% of your income for the year. And within 4 years, you have a year, you can take a mini vacation for the year, whatever it may be, right? Then stage 5, accumulating 5 years worth of annual expenses. And then 6, accumulating 10 years worth of annual expenses, right? The more and more that you're able to save and accumulate this bunch of pool of money, the more freedom that you'll find. And then let's keep it going. Let's go over to level 3. All right. Now, level 3, you have security now. So you started to build wealth machines. Now, a wealth machine is something that puts more money back into your pocket, regardless of if you're working or not. And so many folks, they talk about passive income, but they don't actually talk about how to develop passive income. They don't actually go into what vehicles make the most sense for you and your investor DNA, because all of us are different, right? Some folks might like real estate. Some folks might like crypto. Some folks might like, I don't know, buying options for oranges. I don't know. Whatever makes sense for you and your investor DNA, you want to look for that wealth machine in that category for you. Okay, so level 7 is when your wealth machine cash flows greater than your annual essential expenses. So that means, hey, if I stopped working, at least my baseline needs are still being taken care of. Then you have financial independence. This is where your cash flow is greater than your annual expenses. You have so much money coming in passively that you don't have to do anything, you know? And then financial freedom, it's even more money. You can have 2 extravagant things per year. So maybe you're like, hey, I buy 2 cars every year. I don't know, something ridiculous, right? And then financial abundance. This is where you can provide for your family and other goals, and your money will never run out. When you think about the financial abundance, you want to think about like the Rockefellers, or think about like, I don't know, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. These guys that are like ridiculously so wealthy that they're like, I could spend all this money and it's not going anywhere. Okay. And we'll explore how to build those. So a simple way to remember each of these levels is level 1 is dependent for life. No matter what you do, if you stay in level 1, you're dependent for life. Whether it's dependent on a job or dependent on someone, you're dependent for life. Level 2 gives you a little bit of freedom from your employer. So if it is that you're not happy at the place that you're working, you want to say, hey, I'm going to shift. I'm going to quit this job because I don't want to be here anymore and I want to shift to something else. You have time, whether it's 1, 5, or 10 years, you have time. You can even take mini retirements during this time. Okay. And then level 3 is FU money. Okay. Like kind of the place that many people want to get to. It's like, no matter what you say or what you do or what anyone wants to say to you, 2 words, I'm FU money, do what I want, right? Now I want to know, I'm curious, and you guys could put this down in the chat. Out of these 3 levels, and it's if you want to put in the chat, feel free. If you don't want to, it's totally okay. But out of these 3 levels, which one would you say that you're at? And then which one would you like to be at? So first question is, where are you at right now? And then I want to know, where do you want to get to? I know I'm trying to get to level 3 ASAP. All right, so, or just keep track of it for yourself as well. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to think about what timeline you're going to set for yourself to reach whatever level you want to get to from whatever level you're currently at. So is it 1 year? Is it 5 years? Is it 15 years? And how we'll break down step by steps how to actually make that a reality for you. Okay, that's pretty much, that wraps up the key number 1. Key number 2. Key number 2 is optimizing spending and savings. Okay, so many people don't realize that so much money comes into your hands. In fact, I would like to say like pretty much everyone here either already has made $1 million or has already come very close to making $1 million. The question just ends up being, how much of it do you keep? Okay. If you can keep more of your money, if you keep more of whatever you're generating, you would actually see, like, if I don't know, I've been working since I was 12 from a little babysitting job. If I actually calculated how much money I made from then till now, I'd probably be like laughing, But the first rule that you want to do when you're optimizing is pay yourself first. Okay. I tell this to all of my students. if there's nothing else that you remember from anything that I say ever, if you could remember this one thing, which is pay yourself first. Pay yourself first, pay yourself first, pay yourself first. And it can be something as small as you start off with like 1%. So when you get paid, a small percentage goes into a different account from your bank account. I actually had a client before where I was telling her, and trying to teach her, hey, if you were to pay yourself first, but like treat yourself just like you treat every single other bill, you would start to have more money to do more. Like you could do more with your daughter. You could go on more trips. You can have more investments. You could actually get from level 1 to level 2 very soon. And there's so much resistance. I said, okay, look, I know I tell most of my clients, hey, do 10%, but you know what? Do 1%. And I promise you, you won't notice it. And so she started doing it and she didn't notice it. I said, okay. You didn't notice that, right? She said, yeah, I didn't notice it. I'm like, good. Increased it to 2%. And then fast forward a little bit, she increased it to 5%. And then she's like, whoa, I have money in this account. Where did this come from? I told her, you have to pay yourself first. She increased it to 10%. And she was getting excited. She wanted to keep increasing that number. Ideally, actually, I'll tell you guys the percentage breakdown in a second, but you want to pay yourself first a good amount, all right? The next step you want to do is make a budget. Now, there's a lot of different resources that you can use to make your budget, whether it's like YNAB, you need a budget, that's a website, whether you actually just do it by hand, you just jot down, hey, this is what my expenses are, this is what I expect to be having coming in, going out, this is how I'd like to actually build up my life. Making your budget will actually give you more, well, it'll take a lot of stress away and take away a lot of guesswork, right? Now, this is a quick outline of what I generally tell my students to do and what I share with folks. Now, pay yourself first is always number one, pay yourself first, 1 to 20%. Okay, and I tell folks, you want to try and get up to 20% and then even more, but at least 1%, 20% is a good start. Then you want to put away money for your emergency fund. Okay, 10 to 20% for emergency fund. And you want to save, like the emergency fund goals should start with, hey, I need a 3-month runway, 6-month runway, 1-year runway. And then that actually helps develop that level 2 of saving kind of automatically without you thinking about it too much. All right. Then you want to think about fun, your fun money. And I like to call my fun money my living wealthy account. Okay. I'm going to budget. I'm going to make sure I'm on top of my finances, but I still want to live wealthy. I still want to enjoy things. So allocating 5 to 10% of my money that I could be absolutely stupid with, it helps relieve some of that pressure, especially if you're trying to shift which zone you're in with speed, right? And then you want to start doing 50 to 70% for all your living, everything else, right? So that means your groceries, your rent, your car, everything else, 50 to 70% of your income. And obviously, as your income does grow, you wanna see that shift. Okay, the next slide that we do have is talking about boosting your income. All right, and there's a couple different things that we can do to boost our income, but I'm gonna check real quick. Anna, did you wanna talk a bit about boosting your income or?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey guys. So first of all, I want to introduce myself quickly. Who am I? What do I do? And why am I here? So as I mentioned, my name is Hannah. First of all, the idea for me to join the call and to talk about boosting the income came literally yesterday at midnight. So I apologize, but I don't have slides for you. But I'm not gonna take too much time, so I definitely will bring value without visuals. I would say that I do finance and accounting for the last 6 years professionally. My background comes from Europe, and I've been working in finance and project management and accounting for big energy companies, managing their finances and making sure their books look all correct. And so I would say my strength is technical analysis. Further, so now you are attending more like an introduction session. Further, if you wish to, and we will be looking into how to provide metrics to your personal finance, how to make sure your numbers are correct, because you want to make sure that you apply theory to correct numbers, right? So generally, coming back to the topic of boosting the income, I will be talking about how to negotiate a salary increase and promotions. As I mentioned yesterday, we decided that I will take over this part because Ty hasn't been employed for quite a while, for several years, and I've been employed quite well for several years in contrast. So I believe I can bring more insights in this. In my opinion, the best time to negotiate your salary increase is actually when you get a job offer. Because honestly, the budgets are approved some time before in the company, like a year ahead at least. And it is hard to ask for a raise like 6 months or 12 weeks from the time when you join. The best time to ask for a salary increase and therefore boost your income when you get the job offer. And don't be shy, be professional, and renegotiate the salary that is on your job offer. Most probably you will get a gap of something like 5K that you can add on what you offer. Moving forward, if you already working and you're not planning to change your job anytime soon, then next option for you is ask for a raise for two reasons. First reason is quite easy. You can obviously talk that, explain that, oh, sorry, inflation is so bad, or like your salary doesn't keep up with the market. But again, as I said, if the budget is already approved, there is little chance that you will be actually given that raise. The other option is to explain why you are such a valuable employee. So again, you need to provide some kind of metrics of what kind of value you are bringing to the company. You're gonna come and ask for a raise in numerical, like in numbers, right? So like let's say 1, 5, 10K more. So you better bring something on the table saying that you are bringing to that company 15, 20K more. And in case you are not happy, obviously everyone understands that you leave the company. So make it clear for the employer that you are a great asset. How to do that? First of all, think out of the box, analyze the workflow of the company and seek for possible improvements. Now it's quite easy to do with the new AI implementations. Just Google it, how to improve the workflows with AI. Literally come to your employer with some valuable as you think ideas. The other thing is that your responsibilities by your initiative. In case you will not get a promotion or whatever, anyways, next step for you would be to change your job. And this would be great if you have something better on your CV, some additional skills. So generally, be a valuable asset to your employer. And yeah, that's all on my side. I believe Ty wanted to add something about the side hustles and passive income streams.
Yeah.
In case you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Anna?
You're welcome.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna add on a little bit with like side hustles and different passive income streams. Personally, I do Airbnb, I run Turo. There's so many different apps out right now that allow you to either sell things easily, share things easily. Like the gig economy is really, really there. So if you're looking for different ways to make some extra money side hustling, there's a laundry list there's a whole list of different stuff that you can do. We do go more in depth into that specifically when it comes to the Money Mastery Dash itself, but I'll touch on that in a few. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to manage your debt wisely. All right. Well, I tell you, I've made so many mistakes in my life with debt. I've made so many mistakes, and that's the reason I've learned so much through the mistakes that now I'm able to help other people not make the same mistakes. But this is why budgeting is so important. Making sure that you have the right budget so you don't end up going into debt, and that you only get debt that will make you more money. Okay. Only want to have debt that increases your cash flow or helps with positive cash flow, like things like a mortgage, or if you're going to buy an asset on a loan, if the numbers make sense for you, you have to do your fundamentals. In fact, a resource that I would share with y'all is two of them. The Intelligent Investor, I'm blanking on the
obviously talk that, explain that, oh, sorry, inflation is so bad, or like your salary doesn't keep up with the market. But again, as I said, if the budget is already approved, there is little chance that you will be actually given that raise. The other option is to explain why you are such a valuable employee. So again, you need to provide some kind of metrics of what kind of value you are bringing to the company. You're gonna come and ask for a raise in numerical, like in numbers, right? So like let's say 1, 5, 10K more. So you better bring something on the table saying that you are bringing to that company 15, 20K more. And in case you are not happy, obviously everyone understands that you leave the company. So make it clear for the employer that you are a great asset. How to do that? First of all, think out of the box, analyze the workflow of the company and seek for possible improvements. Now it's quite easy to do with the new AI implementations. Just Google it, how to improve the workflows with AI. Literally come to your employer with some valuable as you think ideas. The other thing is that take on more responsibilities by your initiative. In case you will not get a promotion or whatever, anyways, next step for you would be to change your job. And this would be great if you have something better on your CV, some additional skills. So generally, be a valuable asset to your employer. And yeah. Yeah, that's all on my side. I believe Tara wanted to add something about the side hustles and passive income streams.
Yeah.
In case you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Anna?
You're welcome.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna add on a little bit with like side hustles and different passive income streams. Personally, I do Airbnb, I run Turo. There's so many different apps out right now that allow you to either sell things easily, share things easily. Like the gig economy is really, really there. So if you're looking for different ways to make some extra money side hustling, there's a laundry list there's a whole list of different stuff that you can do. We do go more in depth into that specifically when it comes to the Money Mastery Dash itself, but I'll touch on that in a few. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to manage your debt wisely. All right. Well, I tell you, I've made so many mistakes in my life with debt. I've made so many mistakes, and that's the reason I've learned so much through the mistakes. That now I'm able to help other people not make the same mistakes. But this is why budgeting is so important. Making sure that you have the right budget so you don't end up going into debt, and that you only get debt that will make you more money. Okay. Only want to have debt that increases your cash flow or helps with positive cash flow, like things like a mortgage, or if you're going to buy an asset on a loan, if the numbers make sense for you, you have to do your fundamentals. In fact, a resource that I would share with y'all is two of them. The Intelligent Investor. I'm blanking on the author right now, but it's one of the books that it's one of like the core investing books that everyone should definitely go through. Another one is called Rule 1 by Phil Town. And if you were to take the Rule 1 course, he shows you how to do value investing so you can really make a strategic decision. So you know what your payback time is, you know, all these different things. But if you were to invest using debt, you need to make sure that you do that strategically and manage your debt wisely. Okay, we already touched on making an emergency fund. But the thing that so many people don't do when it comes to an emergency fund, like so many people are paycheck to paycheck, or they're like $200 away from needing to go to a money mart. And those guys are the absolute worst. I swear, I tell everyone, do not go to those places. They're not there to help you at all. And they really want you, they want to prey on you and put you into more financial stress, right? So building an emergency fund will actually give you more freedom, more peace of mind in case things do come up. And there's some other resources that we have outside of the emergency fund, whether it could be different insurance products to actually help bridge the gap between how much you can save and how much you actually need, because we can't always just save our way to riches. There's many products out there to help us out, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. Lastly, you actually want to make a plan. You actually want to go through every step and make a proper plan so that you know where you're going. Because if you don't make a plan, you're just wandering. What last year, when we first launched the Money Master Dash, it was called the Financial Basecamp Challenge, and nobody knew what that meant. And this is why we had to change the name. But the Financial Basecamp Challenge, essentially, the idea is managing your finances like going up a mountain. And base camp is a place you go before you go up the mountain. It's a place you go to prepare. It's a place you go to make sure that your map's in order, your ropes are ready, all the tools you have ready to go. You get to meet your guide, et cetera, and then you get to go up that mountain. And the plan is going to pretty much be the deciding factor of between success and failure. All right. So you want to make sure that you're planning according. Now, I do have this pyramid right here that I'm curious. You could drop it in the chat. You could just keep it for yourself to keep in mind. But out of these, what is the most important to you? This kind of aligns with the different levels, the 3 different levels of wealth, but also it goes a little more specific to say, hey, what is top of mind for you? Is it just getting a financial plan? Oh, you can't see. Can anyone see this? The pyramid I have here?
I can see.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
see.
I can see it fine, Ty.
Okay, I have 2 people that can't see. Let me see. Guys, if you're on your phone, you might have to like swipe to the left or to the right to see the presentation screen that I have. But hopefully you guys can see it soon. Worst case scenario, there will be a playback available for everyone. But I want you guys to really think about, like, when you see this, what is the most important thing to you right now? Is it having a plan? Is it saying, oh, are you realizing now you don't have power of attorney or a will set up for yourself? Are you worried about becoming dependent or suffering health issues or becoming disabled? Will your life crumble if you like break your foot tomorrow and you can't go to work? Right? What about the things that you can control, like retirement savings? So like we went over the numbers saying how many people are not ready for retirement, right? Personal savings. How many people are not ready for don't have any personal savings or emergency cash? Or are you kind of good with most stuff and you're looking for like more growth opportunities like estate preservation or maximizing your wealth? Like really just take a moment to see where you're at and where you want to go, where you need to go from, right? See how far you've already built. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Now, I always invite folks to really think about when you're making your plans, when you're thinking about your financial future, you want to think about all 6 of the pillars. Okay, you want to be intentional with all 6 pillars. When you think about what kind of cars you want to drive, what kind of house do you want to live in? Where do you want to travel to? How are you going to take care of yourself? How are you giving back to the world? Right? What are you doing for fun or for recreation? And your mission is to make your dream life. And one of the things that I do with folks is I tell them, look, when you're making your dream life, there's 3 key things. Is what do you want to have, okay? What do you want to do? And what do you want to be? And I first learned this from actually 2 people when I was younger. One was Tim Ferriss, the writer of the 4-Hour Work Week and the 4-Hour Chef and Titan, a bunch of other books. But one of the challenges he says is, hey, we're going to make a dream line. We're going to make a dream line. We're going to make 2 of them. We're going to make a 6-month dream line. We're going to make a 12-month dream line, right? And what do you want to have, do, and be for the next 6 months? And then what do you want to have, do, and be for the next 12 months? And recently there's this book, actually, I'll show you guys. This book called The 12-Week Year that I'm absolutely addicted to. I love this book. They took it to another level, saying, hey, condense it into 12 weeks and imagine that the year-long goals, you only have 12 weeks to do it. And what do you want to have, do, be? And actually think about that vision. All right. Cool. With that being said, let's head to our next session. So the next session is about growing your wealth. And as much as I would like to talk about investing more, with growing your wealth, there's only 2 things that I want you to think about. Okay, there's only 2 things I want you to think about. The first thing that I want you to think about is to protect. Okay, I want you to think about, I know we talked a little bit about where you want to get to, but I want you to take inventory. I want you to review all the things that are currently in your life, all the things you currently have in your life, all the standards that you want or that you do have for your life. I want you to think about, how are you protecting that? What do you have in place to make sure that you're protecting that for yourself, your loved ones, and anyone that might be relying on you? Okay. The best way to have protection is, I know many people don't like to talk about it, but having life insurance and having some sort of insurances in place. All right. So I want you to think about protection first and foremost. That's why on the pyramid that was there, it's one of the baseline things to make sure, say, you want to be protected. And the next thing is invest. Okay. Anytime you're thinking about growing your wealth, you want to think of protect and invest. And it could be in multiple ways. Like rule 1 is don't lose money. And rule 2 is don't forget rule 1. Well, when you think about that rule, it's how do I protect my asset? And then how do I invest? And then how do I protect my investments? And they kind of go back and forth within each other. Okay. Picking up more energy, more speed, right? This is where you think about your risk tolerance. This is where you think about how much am I willing to lose, but how am I going to protect myself on the downside, right? And what do you need to do to be able to really go deeper into those two? Now, if you guys are interested in going deeper in, because this is just a quick webinar, we're almost at the 1 hour mark already. I'm very surprised that the time flew so quickly. It feels like it's been 5 minutes for me, but that's probably just me. This is for the Money Mastery Dash course. Okay, this idea is to help you master your cash in 5 days or less. Now, why exactly does this course exist? Okay, I know we have the webinar now, but the goal is to help 12,000 people and more master their money so they can be more, have more, and give more. Because the more that you have abundance within yourself, the more that you develop your wealth, the more it trickles out to those around you, the more that you're able to actually help your community. All right. So when it comes to wealth and finances, most people lack predictability, consistency, and systems to get the results that they actually want. People are flailing. I tell you, people are flailing. I sat with over 100 people to help them with their finances and go over things. And so many people don't know what they're doing. They're just going with the flow. No one taught them or showed them. So the Money Mastery Dash exists to help folks have some consistency. Accountability. A lot of people have no accountability to get to where they are now and where they want to go. They don't have a roadmap. They don't have a coach. They don't have someone to help them, right? You wouldn't go to the gym and just start throwing weights around. If you actually wanted to build some muscle, you go to the gym and find someone to say, hey, I'm showing up on this day, on these days, and try and keep me accountable and help me out, be my coach, right? The third reason why this exists is because so many people don't have a proven plan with documented results to follow or a community of like-minded people, right? They're doing it by themselves. They're operating in a silo, right? In fact, even for myself, recently I joined a mastermind group because even building out this business, if it's doing it by yourself is the worst. But actually having a community of like-minded people saying, hey, this is my success this week, this is my fail this week. Even complete transparent honesty. Before I got on the Zoom call, I'm messaging the group, I'm like, guys, nervous about this webinar I'm about to do. And they're like, I remember when I did my first one, and but having a community of people going through the same thing as you really helps you be able to move forward and feel comfortable, feel heard, understood, and supported, right? Now, the folks that we do work with for the Money Mastery Dash have been working in the financial services industries since 2014, okay? They've helped community members with guidance, helping transform their finances, help with their investment portfolios, et cetera, and helping them protect their most valuable assets, right? Now, anyone that does join the Money Mastery Dash, you may be wondering, what does success look like? Right now, there's 3 core things that we consider success. The first thing is a money mindset, right? So clarity on what you're doing. I know sometimes when you say money mindset, people think just, being a miser and just holding on to it. But a money mindset within the MITM club, we focus on clarity on what you're doing, mindfulness on your thoughts and feelings, focus on positive outcomes, motivation to do the work needs to get the results you need, right? It's that flexible mindset. It's something that we all want to develop and grow. The next thing is abundance. And I mentioned that a few times in this call. We want to have abundance, okay? When you have abundance, you will have stronger money management skills so that you have more money to serve yourself and your community, leading to an inner confidence that shines out, right? People can tell. People can tell if you're like, hey, I have no money and I'm broke. But when you have abundance, you exude it off of you, right? And lastly, we have freedom. When you have a more robust financial system, better income allocation patterns, you'll have reduced stress levels, and you will have more freedom to do what you want with who you want, when you want. And that's the whole goal and vision behind the MITM Club. Now, I'll talk a little bit about what the course does include. The main goal for the course is to help you make a roadmap to get from the level you are to the next level, right? The program length is only 5 days, and we've been able to help people in about 10 minutes a day. All right. So many folks say, I want to take control of my finances. I want to make a shift, but I don't have the time to do it. Okay. I was working with a bunch of teachers. I worked with nurses. I was working with people that don't have time, that are feeling stressed out, feeling overwhelmed. And they said, how do you expect me to take 2 weeks to sit down and get my finances sorted out? And I said, you're right. I don't. Okay. Let me try and help you and give you something that 10 minutes a day. You sit down, you follow step A, B, C, and 10 minutes, you'll be able to be good. And within 5 days, you'll at least have your money under control so that you can master it. Okay. Whatever you focus on grows, and you can't master something if you're not paying attention to it. Right. Now, the program does include a few different things. There is a 5-day course. There's an expert financial analysis, which is a deep dive into your financial situation with step-by-step strategies to help you to your goals, right? There's 3 one-on-one coaching calls. Okay. And these coaching calls are normally about $150 per. So you get 3 of them included. There's the FBC saving challenge, which will help you save from $1,000 in a month, because some people are starting out there, to over $50,000 in the year. Right. And we also have a couple other challenges for the folks that are business owners to say, hey, you have a 6-month goal and a 1-year goal. How much money are you trying to make within 6 months or 1 year? And there's challenges in there that we have inside of our community. There's a weekly newsletter that we send out from the Global Mail, a whole bunch of these different services. We have articles we send out, and it's about $70 a month if you were to get it for yourself. It's included in the dash. We have the MITM Club Financial Secrets collections, how to build credit with rent. So many people don't know, if your credit is low, but you pay your rent every month on time, you can actually build your credit with rent. And I have an article that I created to help people tap into that. Okay, we have 10 steps to master your money, a quick short read to help you with 10 tangible tips. In fact, some of you that signed up should have gotten another one that we have, which is the five financial secrets, timeless tips for a fat purse, right? So many of you guys that signed up got that automatically, right? We have the 21-day finance challenge, which is included in here. But if you were to break all these stuff down together, you're looking at about $1,670, right? But that's not all that we're including in today's program for folks that sign up today. We're giving early access to the MITM Club membership. Now, what is the MITM Club membership? This is something that I've been developing for a few years now, right? Because we want to help people with their fitness, their finance, and their dream life ideally. So the access to the MITM community, which is with like-minded folks on this journey to reach their first million and beyond, right? Where we have weekly meetings, we have a private group, we have weekly group coach calls to help you master the 6 pillars, right? Every single week we get together and we talk about how you can better master the 6 pillars so that you can have the life that you ideally want. Then we're partnered with Release the Beast Fitness, where any one of the MITM Club members, they get 50% off of any fitness programs, because your fitness and your health is your true wealth. So instead of spending all this money in the gyms, you can save up to $2,400 per year on training. And lastly, we have upgrade tickets to all MITM Club events, which is kind of priceless because, you get to come and hang out with the squad. But this is valued at $4,500 total, right? So if you were to get all of these things separately, we're looking at about $6,110, which is a ridiculously large number that I would expect anyone to do. But because we're relaunching, we just launched the Money Mastery Dash. It's going to be only $59 for the first 5 people with lifetime access to everything. The reason why we're doing it so low is because we want the first 5 people that come in to be our core tribe members. All right. Anyone that ends up joining at this level, you guys are here forever. And we're actually going to build and grow together in a community that is here to serve. All right. So with that being said, if you guys want to, you can check out the moneymasterydash.com. You should have already received an email. If not, wait for it. You'll get an email soon with a bunch more information. This way you can really have a total upgrade, level up all aspects of your life at the same time. All right. Now, that's pretty much it for that. I do have a couple of quick questions because I have some giveaways that I'm going to send out to folks. Okay. Well, I want to say thank you everyone for stopping in. Definitely check your emails. There's going to be a lot of other gifts and prizes for you and stuff. And yeah, with that being said, I hope that you become rich. Have a great evening, y'all, and I will see you soon.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you so much for the presentation. I thought it was really good, very informative. and wish you all the luck and the blessings. Let's rock it.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Ty.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Ty.